Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Arknights reaction, and today we have another double reaction going on. I wanted to make sure that I got the right song from last time because I wasn't positive which song they were actually referring to in their request. I just went with the first one I saw, and while people definitely enjoyed that one, there were a few comments that were being like, maybe it was this one, maybe it was that one. So like, for example, Vlannery put a comment in there saying that maybe it was supposed to be this other like story theme that happens just during the story moments. So I'm going to be listening to that one, as well as a number of comments in here as well saying that I should listen to the boss theme. So I'm going to be doing both of those. I'm going to be starting with the story one, doing the boss one second, and just doing the usual thing I do when I do double reactions and just having the gap of me talking in between each. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh, the atmosphere. I mean, I kind of expected this much, given the overall sea vibes of this whole event, so. A lot of atmosphere to play with when you don't know what the ocean sounds like, you know what I mean? A lot of creativity. I can definitely see how this would be impactful during a story, for sure. Having this behind, like, really oppressive dialogue. Ooh, the vocals. That's even more haunting than the last one. I love the synth going between the ears. I love that. Use that sonic space, that stereo room you have. The intensity is impressive? Oppressive. Definitely oppressive. In the best way, though, especially when you're trying to get that really oppressive sound. Whew. Damn, all right. I definitely expected that sort of energy coming in. Like I said, what else are you supposed to do with the sound of a spot on Earth or maybe even space that you're not positive what it may sound like? You have to kind of create this sound library of noises that are from that area, you think, and that ambiguity plays a huge role in making something feel spooky. You know, like if it doesn't feel familiar, if it's not something you hear all the time, every day, always, it's gonna feel a little bit off-putting. So that sort of atmosphere in these sorts of songs for space and especially the ocean, both of those are very similar orally because you're not sure what to hear. You know, you're not fully positive what sounds these areas make, and it's up to somebody who's very creative to be able to blend all of that together and make something so interesting in that atmosphere. Have all that space filled up with something. And usually the way to go is stuff like synths or like weird atmospheric tones, really big droning things, large impact, stuff like that with a lot of reverb on it. A lot of people definitely crank the reverb and just let it kind of decay as time goes on. And that makes sense given both the ocean and space have a lot of space, and you're not sure how far sound can go in both cases. Because, like, while, yeah, physics play a factor, there are definitely factors in both of those locations where we don't know everything. So it just keeps adding to that spooky, scary edge that we get, that insanely disquieting feeling that you're just not able to pinpoint where the source is, what exactly that is. And that's where, again, synths tend to come in, because those are already not a natural sound in most cases, so it ends up being a little bit spooky scary, and it makes it kind of work better in that field. And this is just a great example of layering things. Like, there were some sounds in there that sounded a little bit like whale calls, and of course you're going to do that. A lot of whale call stuff in this sound design style for underwater sea music, but also the voices having that siren effect to it. They've done that in every single theme from Path of Life I've heard so far, and it's definitely something to stick to because it just sounds so haunting. It's something that sounds so otherworldly perfect, you know, in a scenario, in a location that shouldn't have that. You're hearing human voices, you think, in water, which shouldn't happen. So it adds to that weird sensation I've been talking about this whole time. It's really cool, and I love the sound design of this area especially. We got to experience a little bit of that with stuff like Gravitational Field and I Will Touch the Sky. They played with this like really cool soundscape, and that's much more space-centric, and there is a difference there, but they're similar enough that those tones you want to go for, those weird ethereal sounds, those drones and hums that just kind of hang around you and you're unable to really pinpoint the location of what they are or where they're coming from, are very similar. So I think this is a really, really, really cool sound, and I'm expecting to hear more of it in the boss theme next, but I've already heard a bunch of it before, and basically everything I've heard, but I don't know and won't know until I actually listen to it. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh. I mean, I know it's a boss theme. A little more intense, a little less spooky. We might actually be getting something a little different out of this one. Whoa. Well, that's not at all what I expected. Okay. Still the beautiful vocals. Ooh, the arpeggio dancing. It's going up and down. This is not at all where I thought it was gonna go. Kind of a bop, though. God, all those piano accents. Ooh, beautiful scale. That's going constant, too. God, what did they get? You ping 10 on this one? Like, good lord. My ears are so focused on that piano in the background. That's so cool. It's just so unrelentingly intense. Ooh. Ooh. Even changing up the pattern in there. Beautiful ending too. Damn. Hot damn, that was so different than what I thought it was going to be. That is a sound I haven't heard since Tiltifera Novice. Like, that's really cool. It almost felt like I was revisiting that era of my YouTube channel by listening to that. That was such a neat approach. It's also a bummer that I couldn't figure out who composed this one. I couldn't find an actual credit anywhere. I did find out who composed the prior one. It was Hendric Buenck, I think his name, or Buenck. His name is insane. I cannot actually say that. I feel so bad, but Hendric did an amazing job on that song, and I think that this one is beautiful as well. I just wish that I could actually give a comment to who it was and give compliment directly to them, because I don't know and I wish I did. That piano work is some of the most beautiful arpeggiating dancing I've heard in a while. It was so unrelenting, it was constant, it was consistent, it just went. The whole song had that going. It felt like the playing of a true, unadulterated, unapologetic savant on the piano. And while I'm very sure that this was probably a programmed piano part, because I would be terrified of the person who could keep that up for that long, but I know they're out there. Obviously, I'm just not nearly that good at piano. I could barely play one. But at the same time, it is still impressive how constant it was, and I think they did that phenomenally well. It is just insane to hear. Everything else about the song was supporting it just as well, but I was so locked into that piano part. Most of what I have to say is about how cool just going constantly on that, keeping that energy cranked to the absolute max on the dial, and just never letting go. Even that one spot in there where it kind of went down a little bit in tone, it was more the supporting stuff that went down. They still had more accents to play through. They were still over here dancing on little short arpeggiated stings, just going nuts on it. And it was just, no matter what you did, you felt like you were being beat across the head with it. And I think that's a great goal to strive for when you're making a boss theme, something that just feels like you cannot get out of it until it's done. And while the player themselves might feel like that's extremely overwhelming, that's also kind of the point, you know? There is a lot of weight on this, and none of it is being played in your favor. It's all against you, and it's making you constantly feel a little agitated, a little anxiety-ridden. Everything's going wrong, and you just have to keep going. It's like a true testament to the undying will of man. Like, you just cannot stop until the thing is done. This is manifest destiny, manifest. And while that's definitely an oppressive sound to have, that's exactly why it's there. And I think they did an amazing job making that work and making that feel so incredibly hopeless. You know, like, no matter what you were gonna do, you know there's no easy way out. And also, like I said, this is not the tone I was expecting at all for this song. I was expecting something a lot more atmospheric. I was expecting something maybe a little bit more important, like they were gonna raise the bravado on this song a little bit, make it feel a little bit holier than thou, but still keep that like ethereal edge to it where you just can't tell what exactly is happening or what you're fighting maybe. But maybe that's not the approach of the boss theme either. So I appreciate that they shifted it to fit the tone of whatever battle they're doing, because I'm sure this fit whatever character you're fighting against. And that's just a really nice approach. I don't like it when songs don't feel like they fit the vibe anymore just because they're trying to keep with an overall motif or an overall theme. While those are definitely great, you want to be able to, you know, turn on your coattail a little bit and be able to make something that actually fits, even if it doesn't fit the overall energy of the area, the event, something else. If that theme doesn't fit perfectly, that doesn't matter, as long as the song fits the situation. That's truly what makes this song work for this, and I'm really glad they did that. So yeah, I've listened to both of these now. I think I've got everything I wanted to say off my chest, so thank you all so very much for watching this. If you have any other songs from Arknights, of course, by all means, throw them in the comments below, and I will do my best to get to them, as I always do. And if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!